What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Scale News Update, the very first live edition. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news that happened in the scale world of RC over the last week. This week, again, first time doing a live version of this, mainly because that I was up too late filming and editing another video, but that's for another time. Today, we've got just a few topics. It was a little bit of a slow week, but we're going to get into the few that we do have, and then we'll get into a whole question and answer, the whole, kind of just go through a live video. I've got some stuff here to the side as well that we can talk about. But jump into this week's topics. The first one is going to be that Axial has reduced the prices of their Kitt versions of the SCX-10-2. That is the SCX-10-2 Cherokee and the brand new UMG. Those are both only $299 now. So if you're looking for an actual Kitt version of an SCX-10-2, it looks like both of those are going to be more affordable. I haven't picked up the UMG 10 yet, but looking forward to getting that in the future and doing something with it. Who knows? It's just another kit that I feel like I will own. So that's the biggest update from the Axial side. The other small update that we saw this week was from Red Cat. They released a light kit for the Red Cat Gen 8. This looks like a headlight, taillight thing, kind of filling the buckets that that vehicle was pre-made for out of the box. Thanks for everyone who's joining in. I'll get through the comments here. We've only got a couple of topics, and then we'll jump into all of that. So yeah, the Red Cat released the light kit for the headlights, taillights, and that body was built for all of those buckets, already ready to go. Just needed to drop that in. So the other thing that they released was a servo, and this is basically just a very similar to the 25 kilogram servos that we've seen, you see on eBay, things like that. However, it doesn't look like Red Cat's really hiked the price on those. A lot of times you see those rebrands from manufacturers and they raise the price on them quite a bit compared to what you can get them for elsewhere. But this one looks like it's a pretty reasonable price. So if you're looking for a Red Cat branded, or actually I think their electronics brand is called Hexfly. But if you're looking for one of those, they're going to have an option for you as well. And then lastly, most importantly, and what we've got here to my right, is that the Vanquish VS410 Pro pre-orders are going live today around 10 a.m. my time, which is Pacific time. So that is 1 p.m. Eastern time, noon Central. So if you're looking for those are going to be live on the Vanquish site today. And I do have one of the versions here in front of me. So kind of go through this. This was the one that I was using when we shot video of it. And you'll see the video live on the VS410 Pro today as well. That's mostly what I was up too late trying to finish in order to get the, the actual Scale News filmed and edited and all that. So I decided that I was just going to come in early with not enough sleep and try and do the news live, because that seemed like a good time. Like I said, thanks for everyone for joining. I know we've got a bunch of comments here on the side that I haven't caught up on. So again, thanks for everyone who's popped in. It's we had a crazy big news week in the last couple of weeks with, releases of all kinds of stuff, especially around the Horizon HCP event. We had of course we had the new Armas, we had the VS410 Pro, which we released at K&K. It was a busy week the last week. And then this week, I think everyone just kind of blew their news wad early, and we had a slow week this week. But it seemed like it was a good time to do a live version of the news and kind of jump into some questions and things like that. Looks like we have people from Romania, Germany, California, of course, Australia. We're all over. So, hello, Ohio. It just seems like it was just there. So, about time Axial lowers prices. The kit prices, I don't actually remember what the UMG 10 listed for as soon as it was released. I know that the new lower price on it is going to be nice. It's it's nice to see it, that kit at $299, where they've got ready to runs at that price. So there is obviously added benefit in those kit prices. The SCX-10-2 Cherokee is it's almost a different car compared to a lot of the other ones that they've produced since. The biggest body, that I guess the Blazer's arguably just as big, but with that, the longer wheelbase of the SCX-10-2 Cherokee version. And then, of course, you know, we only saw the new transmission from Axial in those two vehicles. And that was it. It never really gained as much popularity just because you didn't find it in as many kits. So, hey, thanks for the donation, Shane. Appreciate that. Any news about how you're going to set up at Axial Fest? So I'll be at Axial Fest. I'll be there in the vendor booth for Vanquish. So should be up there. It's I think they're listed the 24th to the 27th is how that's put, which is what, like a Thursday to Saturday or Wednesday, something like that. So I'll probably try and get up there basically the first day, get all set up, be there throughout most of that time frame. You know, for those of you who haven't been up to Donner, Donner's an awesome place for terrain and things like that. I have no idea how the camping stuff is all set up or even where vendors are going to be, anything. So I'm just going to go up there and follow directions, but it's going to be a great place for crawling. Beyond that, I think that, you know, they're trying hardest to get just a good event set up, and I hope that goes well. I'm looking forward to it no matter what. You know, it's not that far for me, so it's not like it's a huge out of the way thing. It's Donner's only an hour and a half or so out of, you know, up the hill from here, so it's a pretty easy trip. Let's see what else we got. What did I miss? News this week was pretty low. Axial reduced their prices of their Kitt versions to $299. Red Cat released a light kit and a new servo, and the Vanquish VS410 Pro versions are going up for pre-order day. So I got, you know, finished up a full video on this as far as, you know, close-up looks and then some running footage. That's what you'll see today. As far as, you know, additional videos of step-by-steps and things like that, that will come later, but that'll be, you'll see all of those videos as well. Right now, the VS410 Pro kit will go on pre-order today. The quantities that are available is, you know, hopefully enough to satisfy, you know, the demand, but those should ship by late July, mid to late July. That's the estimate at this point. So hopefully there's plenty to go around, and you know, but for now, the quantity that is going to be on there, it's going to see. Both black and clear will be available out of the, you know, from the start, rather than how it was last time when we did a clear version and then later on released a black version. This time you'll just get to choose black or clear, and that will refer to the axles and knuckles basically. The rest of the parts will be, you know, like the panhard mount, for example, the aluminum panhard mount that comes on the chassis. That's black on all of the versions. Can I have your VS410? No. The body will be available separately, so that it's not going to be available at the same time as the pre-order goes live. Those will be available later. So you will see the bodies though, and then the new VFD transmission, which comes in the VS410 Pro, that is going to be available at a later date also. So again, that's not going to be available when this goes up for pre-order today. Let's see. Are there plans for VS410 to ship with portals? Like this one here is just going to have the F9s on it for now. You know, portals are that's another project, you know, maybe later on down the road. But the VFD transmission does require an offset front axle just because of how low the motor sits in this in comparison to, you know, anything else. So the motor sits right down next to the drive shaft. There's no additional clearance. When it's at full stuff, the drive shaft is literally next to the motor. So you really got to have, you know, the correct setup in there to get that running. What's your favorite thing about your 1.9 Wraith? Because I set mine up just about the same as yours and haven't wheeled it yet. I've always just liked a Wraith style vehicle. You know, I've liked the cage style that, you know, has a nice interior. It looks very realistic. The size of the 1.9 has been fun. It wheeled well. I had a good time with it, and it's something that I enjoy the style of. I like the sound of it. And, you know, I like maneuvering a caged vehicle through rocks. It's, you know, it's got its own. It doesn't give like a Lexan body might. So I've always enjoyed that about the Wraiths and bombers, things like that. That style of vehicle. Do I think servo on axle is dead? I don't think it's dead. I think it's a really good option in a lot of situations, but in a market that is focused more on scale, I think if someone released a kit with servo on axle on a 1.9 trail truck like this, that it would not be received well. So there is a group that, of course, is as performance focused as possible, and for those people, servo on axle is, I think, pretty arguably better because there's a direct link to the steering. There is no, having to transmit the power from the chassis to the axle and then have to make sure that's counteracted properly with a panhard link. So there's, but our market right now is very focused on scale. So I just don't think that you're going to see somebody release something like that in a well-designed kit where it's going to be well received. The new trans and lowered motor location, the Pro, it will accept a brushless. Yeah, I've got this in here is a Tekin Rock 412. You can actually even see a little bit of the ROC right there on the side of the motor. So I tested this with Tekin Rock 412 in this one, and then December. That was actually my test rig for this transmission. That one I used a Tekin Pro 4 in. The HD Tekin motors are too long for this transmission, so the 550, the longer 550 style cans. But like I said, I've been using a Pro 4 in my test rig, this one Rock 412, and just been having a great time with them. And so, yeah, absolutely, brushless motors is mainly what we tested with. I think the only time Dan Wilson used a brushed motor in his 14 K&K. But other than that, I think we all pretty much ran brushed or brushless. Sorry. How much will the Pro be in the market? The Pro is $749, so that is the the kit price for everything you see there. Kind of going through some of it. It does have the Curry F9 style axles now, offset chromoly axle shafts, front and rear. The machined gears all the way around. The transmission is full of machined gears. Big aluminum motor plate. It's got overdrive out of the box. It's machined steel drive shafts. It's got the new half cab body. The interior portion is basically the same. So if you have accessories that fit in the interior, those are still going to fit. The bed portion changed a little bit just to accommodate body posts and how that fits with the shock towers. But beyond that, it does have a nice drop bed to it in the rear. It's over an inch, which I think is a drop bed in the Sorka world, but I'm not sure. I haven't completely looked into all of those rules. Price on the VFD as an individual transmission, that won't be released till later, so pricing will be announced when it's released. Oops. Kind of. Here, jump down a bunch. Hold on just a second here and caught up. When will the links needed for the TRX4 conversion be on the DS4 chassis? That I got those done. It's just I've been swamped trying to get some other stuff like this done. But those are produced and ready. I just have to get them listed and on the website. Hopefully I can still probably get that done this week. So what? Oh, I forgot about the TRX4 Trax release. I had that. Normally I go off the notes that I have on my phone. But yeah, the Traxxas TRX4 Sport with Trax out of the box is released. It was a surprising thing to me, but just because it seems like Trax or something that I guess you could use them all year round or things like that. It's just, I don't know why necessarily you would run them all year. Who knows? But they had those and they had this and they just here you go. So it makes sense. I don't personally probably have a huge desire to own Trax just because snow is up there and I don't often go to that, but and I don't really care for mud, which is the other situation. I guess I don't know. It's probably not something that I'm like super really ready to jump on, but I can see that there's going to be a lot of people in a lot of climates or just want Trax in general. So I like speed too much, I think. Reasonable speed. Crawler speed. Let's see. So yeah, the video on the Pro will be up. I've got a couple more to follow as far as running video stuff goes. That will be coming soon. You know, I'll just kind of release those slowly. I've got the TRX4 video today also going up. That'll go up at 10 a.m. My time, again, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. So that one goes up today. Tomorrow, TRX4 budget build running video goes up. That one I shot this weekend, so that was a good time. Almost lost the truck off a cliff. It's close, real close. Let's see. Oh, that's my first view of the bottom of the chassis. Yes, so yeah, the bottom of the chassis is very different. You know, you can see it's got the skid plate extends way forward to protect that motor. It's actually, it sits up above the links, you know, when it's at ride height, but when it's at full stuff, it's almost perfectly dead even with the bottom of the links, which was by design. So then the nice high clearance molded plastic front and rear bumpers, those do make this truck a lot of fun to drive. You know, obviously bumpers and they've got a much better approach and departure angle, both front and rear. The sliders are also molded on this one as well, so those slide really nicely, and you can also upgrade those to the aluminum version that you saw come on the VS410 before if you want an aluminum slider. So those will be available separately in case you wanted to bolt those on. Will the new transmission fit directly into the original VS410? Yes, it will be just a direct drop-in. The couple of mounts that are needed for the front will be included with the transmission when that is sold separately. So yes, it will drop right into the old VS410. It will drop right into the VS410 chassis kit that's available now. So just drop right in. Super easy. You have to run an offset front axle to use the VFD transmission though. So if you built a chassis kit but you use a D44 axle or something like that, then you're gonna have a bad time. Or not D44, AR44. Use a D44 from Vanquish, you're gonna have a good time. So you just have to make sure that it's offset, because like I showed, that drive shaft runs right next to the motor, so it's got to be offset. I did bolt up a Traxxas TRX4 axle to it, and that basically bolts in. I used and took apart the brand new TRX4 Power Wagon that I built and bolted in that new transmission. That truck was running and done, and then I just disassembled it to redo that. So now I've got to go back and finish that up again, but you know, it could be worse, right? Let's see. Again, thanks everyone for popping in. Good to appreciate it. Hey, if you like the videos, hit the like button. I appreciate all the support. It does help the videos. So, yes, 19 Wraith is, you know, the 19 Wraith has been one of my, I really liked that release this year. That was one of my more favorite releases. The Wraith I've always liked. It's just been one of my favorites for a really long time. I only run axle mounted steering. The VS410 is literally my only CMS rig. You know, it's in a lot of situations, I can understand that. A lot of rigs, the CMS is, or, you know, yes. Oh. See, that's when I'm normally supposed to be waking up. So, a lot of times CMS setups are much more constrictive to suspension and things like that. The nice thing with the VS410 is it does have high chassis, you know, clearance, so you still get a lot of travel in there. Things are designed around that, so you do get just a more reasonable amount of suspension travel, things like that. I think that it's beneficial, especially in the VS410. Good morning to everyone. Thanks again. You know, morning to us out here on the, I guess it's morning pretty much everywhere in the U.S., but wherever else, a lot of these other people, I get that could be. And we have to block people. So let's see, where are we at for comments? Again, good morning. Good morning, Irvin. Just saw you as well. What about the skid? Oh, as far as Mr. Comedy, good morning, sir. As far as the skid will be available or come with the VFD transmission package, because obviously that's required. So it'll be sold as a package that's made to convert either an previous VS410 or somebody who has the VS410 chassis kit and wants to put a VFD in. So will understand the way that you're going with it, and that's the way that it will be made so that you can easily do that. You know, if some guy built a mammoth crawler and got his trailer, you could tell the VS410. One day maybe I will still look at a mammoth. When are Matt and I coming to the East Coast? Well, Matt lives on the East Coast, so that's an easy one for him. I don't know that I have any immediate plans for East Coast stuff. I'm trying to think. Maybe next year. There's a couple of events over on the East Coast that I wouldn't mind hitting. So, Roland's, good morning. Any 3D files coming out for the VS410, would like to print some inner fenders. I assume that you've got the VS410 chassis kit then, since the VS410 kits themselves come with inner fenders. Also, there are Lexan inner fenders already for it, but you know, a 3D printable version or something simplified like that might be an option. It's just not something that I've, you know, it's like I already have an option. So normally I'd like to offer my 3D files. If something I print it for myself once, I'm usually then fine with distributing it. But you know, with something like inner fender wells where I already have a solution available, it's one of those things like I probably am not going to spend as much time on that just because you know, I don't need it. I have something available. So that's kind of how usually it works. I'm usually trying to just maximize whatever project I'm working on to something that I need. So, but other printable files for the VS410 could likely be coming. There's a couple that I know are things that I wouldn't mind doing myself. So likely at that time, then I'd happy to distribute those. Is Vanquish going to make any upgrades for the SCX24? Probably not. The hard thing about that is that as funny as it sounds, you know, trying to make a tiny little knuckle for an SCX24, it really doesn't take that much difference in time as it does like a regular knuckle for a 10 scale car, and no one is going to want to pay $45 for SCX24 knuckles that are this big. And granted, it wouldn't be that much, but the price doesn't scale appropriately just because you end up using very small tools and things like that. It becomes difficult. So that's why a lot of times that tiny market, the micro market or whatever you want to call it, isn't as good for us, where China is able to do that a lot cheaper, and that's where they can shine in some of those situations. Any plans on TRX4 aluminum housings? Not currently. It's still sun up in the sky here. Roland's, where are you at, Roland? I can't remember. It's one of those, not Latvia, something like that. I would be working on Friday nights, so usually miss Sunday hangouts. Let's see, Bomber rules, Wraith drools. I loved the Wraith when it came out, and then the Bomber was kind of what I always wanted to turn my Wraiths into. So it worked out that way, you know. So I ended up usually liking the Bomber better. But now the 1.9 Wraith, I feel is a great Wraith. One thing you guys will notice here is this line above my head here. That's going to keep coming down as the sun rises over the building in front of me, and then I'm going to end up with a very bright light in my eyes. So that's likely going to be about our cue. As you see that come down, it's about when we're going to end up. So yeah, City, you're waiting on the pre-order to go live. 10 a.m. my time, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to try and stick to that, make that an easy thing for you guys to know when it's going to pop up. How do I get a really fancy Vanquish collared shirt? I had these made. There's only like 10 of these that were made, so there's not a bunch of them. It wasn't something that I had. Missed the chassis close-ups. I didn't actually pull the body off, but like I said, I've got a full close-up detailed video, detail shots of this going up at 10 a.m. as soon as the pre-order goes live. So you'll see that video pop up with all kinds of properly lit, shots and all that, because I didn't even set up my lights or anything in here this morning. I just fired up the laptop and hit go. again, thanks for everyone for showing up for a live news this morning. That was, you know, like I said, it was mainly because I was up too late trying to finish that video, and then it was like 10:30 or 11 o'clock, and I was like, I really don't feel like shooting the news in, you know, at home, tired, and then having to edit it and upload it. Granted, instead I just went to bed late and got up way too early, and I haven't even had coffee yet. But you know, my teal Yeti tumbler. No one steals my coffee cup to use it. They just steal it to hide it usually. So I actually only have a couple body pins in this. After traveling, I didn't fully reassemble this. So for those that haven't seen the VS410 Pro half cab body, or even the previous one, it does still have the molded grill. It's got the radiator with fans and shrouds back there. Light buckets are ready for a 10mm LED, so it's larger than your normal LEDs. It does have rear light buckets, and then it has the nice drop. This is something that you won't have seen, and actually you won't really even be able to tell all that well in the video. But the drop bed is actually part of the interior tray. So this piece is separate from the outside of the body. It's a little bit different. That's partially how you get the cleaner lines at the back of the cab. You don't end up with those triangles. So the pull on this is really nice. But the interior and bed actually bolt in as one piece. So here you can kind of see how that's painted. A little bit different than you've probably seen. But interesting. And then the body will come laser cut, so there'll be a nice perfect line around the back. Everything fits well, and then it bolts in with these 6 screws down the sides. So it's a fun detail that you might not have been thinking was going to be there. So let's see what show us. So when's the sport top gonna come from the VS? You know, just kind of going down the whole Scout line, right? Sport top. Which one was that? Was that the? I don't remember which one that one was. Yeah, the SCS-1024 is a nice one. I drove mine at Proline by the Fire. I really haven't had any time to do anything else beyond that since. See this line creeping down. I'm gonna end up within my eyes here. You got birds. What kind of birds are those? I don't know what you're referring to. So the inside of the chassis, it does have multiple battery positions. This is if you want to run like a larger battery pack, this tray goes around on the back side there. You don't have to use that one. The side trays are actually built with Velcro strap positions in them as well. And when we were testing, a lot of times we were using smaller packs on the side. You know, if you use a bigger pack on the back, it is nice and balanced. It actually jumps really well then, in case you like to run brushless like I do. But I was running, like when I was testing with the Pro 4, I was running these 1300 milliamp 4S packs. These are kind of one of my preferred batteries. They fit on the side really well. You don't have to run that tray all the way across the back if you don't like. And then back here, there's actually this little bracket. And if you actually had the VS410 chassis kit, you may have noticed that bracket, not known what that was. That is for the dig servo for the new VFD dig option that's coming. And that'll actually be available basically at the same time as the trucks are shipping. So you'll see those available. And the dig is a totally new style dig. It's not. The internals are very similar as far as the mechanism goes, but the design of it is different to fit this new VFD transfer case. Everything lays down. It's nice and low. It stays below that battery tray, so just it's kind of a lay down style dig. It's super nice. Keeps that servo really low profile. You know, you can run it. Doesn't really interfere with much at all. And I think we're gonna start having this white balance issue with my camera here before too long with all of this sunlight. Oh, you thought I heard parrots in the background. No, that's actually CNC machines you hear. On just the other side of that wall, there's big, loud CNC machines. Can you run a revolver or outrunner motor in the new trans? Yes. Clay Carter Fab, he tested the transmission with Outrunner motors. I believe he ran the Holmes revolver in his. But yeah, they work fine. They, you know, there's plenty of room. Those revolvers are usually quite a bit shorter than a standard brush motor. But as far as clearance and things like that goes, there's plenty of room. Let's see. I'm late to the video. What truck is that? This is the VS410 Pro. It does go on pre-order today, and we are going to see, and we're going to start having our lighting issues about now. I don't know if there's going to be much we're going to be able to do about this. This is going to buy us minutes at best. Just pull up to work, finish watching later, hit the road. What the price on the kit will be $749 for the VS410 Pro. So yeah, that's I think we're gonna cut this one about here, guys. The meant to be doing it, and I just haven't found time to get it fitted in there. But yes, this sunlight is going to start becoming epically annoying. So that's where we are going to call this one done. I appreciate, again, all of you guys for stopping in for a live version of the news. It saved me a lot of time from actually having to film and edit. Just do it all in one shot, and that's what we got. So again, appreciate all of you guys for stopping in. Hope you have an awesome rest of the week. You know, we're Tuesday morning here is also. Still got a lot of the work week left to go. But hopefully those of you guys who are interested, pick up the VS410 Pro today. Lots else going on. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. You know, the whole see you next Tuesday thing with the new day on the Scale News update was always kind of a weird one. But anyway, we'll see you guys on the next Tuesday. So that's all we got for now, guys. Again, thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoy these videos. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. This is annoying. Thanks again. We'll see you guys later.